upset. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about something that could change the course of your health, your energy, upset, and even how you feel when you wake up in the morning. I call it the health reset. When we think about food, upset, most of us connect it instantly to taste, comfort, culture, or even emotions, upset. But the human body was never designed to treat food as entertainment. It was designed to treat food as fuel, upset. Every single cell in your body runs on energy, and the quality of that energy depends entirely on what you put in your mouth, upset. If you constantly supply it with refined carbohydrates, sugary drinks, or processed snacks, upset. The body has no choice but to run on glucose. At first, that may feel like a quick boost, upset. But what follows is the inevitable crash, fatigue, brain fog, and a desperate craving for more sugar, upset. This cycle doesn't just affect your mood, it sets the stage for weight gain, insulin resistance, upset, and eventually more serious health conditions. Now imagine switching the source of your fuel. Instead of running on sugar, upset, your body begins to rely on fat as its primary energy source. Fat is stable. Fat doesn't spike insulin, upset. Fat provides long-lasting, steady energy that your cells can tap into at any moment, upset. This is how the human body was designed to function for most of history, using stored fat when food wasn't constantly available, upset. By shifting away from entertainment eating and back toward functional fueling, you allow your system to reset itself, upset. Suddenly you're not hungry every 2 hours. Suddenly those mid-afternoon crashes don't happen, upset. You begin to experience mental clarity and stable energy that lasts all day. But it's not just about swapping sugar for fat, upset. The type of food you choose matters as much as the macronutrient itself. For example, eating healthy fats from avocados, upset. Olive oil, wild-caught fish, and nuts is not the same as drowning your body in processed seed oils. The same goes for protein, upset. Clean sources like eggs, grass-fed beef, and chicken provide amino acids your body uses for repair and growth, upset. Combine these with a wide variety of vegetables, and you cover your nutritional bases with vitamins, minerals, upset, and phytonutrients. This approach doesn't just supply calories, it supplies raw materials your body needs to build, heal, upset, and protect itself. Empty calories entertain your taste buds for a moment, but leave your cells starving for real nutrition, upset. When you look at food as entertainment, you tend to ask the wrong questions. What do I feel like eating right now? Upset. What sounds good? What craving do I want to satisfy? But when you shift your mindset and see food as fuel, you begin to ask, upset. What does my body need to perform at its best? How can I supply the nutrients that will help my liver detoxify, my brain focus, upset, my muscles recover, and my metabolism stay efficient? This small shift in thinking is where real transformation begins, upset, because health is not built by indulging short-term cravings. It is built by consistently providing the right kind of fuel, upset. Consider the way high-octane fuel works in a performance car. You can put cheap fuel into it, and it may still run, upset. But the engine will wear down faster, it will knock, and it won't deliver peak performance. Your body is the same way, upset. You can survive on fast food pastries and sodas, but you will never thrive. On the other hand, give your body clean, upset, nutrient-dense fuel, and the results are remarkable. Energy stabilizes, fat stores decrease, hormones rebalance, upset, and inflammation calms down. So the key is simple but profound, upset. Stop treating food like entertainment and start treating it like the fuel it is meant to be. Once you adopt this mindset, upset, every choice becomes easier, upset. The question isn't, do I want this? But rather, will this fuel me or drain me? And the more often you choose fuel over entertainment, upset, the faster your body resets into the stronger, healthier version it was designed to be. When most people hear the word fasting, upset. They imagine deprivation, weakness, or going without food for days on end. But fasting, especially intermittent fasting, upset, is not about starving yourself. It's about giving your body the chance to rest, repair, upset, and heal in ways that constant eating never allows. Every time you eat, even a small snack, your body releases insulin, upset. Insulin's job is to move sugar out of the blood and into the cells, but if it's constantly elevated, upset, your body gets stuck in fat storage mode. Over time, this creates insulin resistance, upset, which means your cells stop responding effectively, and your body produces even more insulin just to compensate, upset. This is the root problem behind weight gain, fatigue, prediabetes, and eventually type 2 diabetes. By fasting, upset, you lower insulin levels, break this vicious cycle, and allow your body to finally tap into its fat reserves for energy, upset. One of the most powerful benefits of intermittent fasting is how quickly it reduces hunger and cravings. At first, upset. Many people think they'll feel miserable without their usual snacks, but the opposite happens, upset. Once insulin drops and the body switches over to burning fat, energy becomes more stable. Fat is a long-lasting fuel, upset. Unlike sugar, which burns fast and leaves you crashing, upset. People often report they can go many hours without even thinking about food, upset. The constant mental chatter about what to eat disappears, and with that, upset. You regain control over your appetite instead of being controlled by it, upset. Fasting also triggers repair processes at the cellular level. When you stop eating, upset, your body shifts from growth mode into repair mode. One of the key mechanisms here is autophagy, upset, a process where your cells clean up damaged proteins, toxins, and even malfunctioning cell parts, upset. Think of it like a recycling system that kicks in only when you're not constantly feeding, upset. This is why fasting has been linked to improved longevity, sharper brain function, and lower risk of many chronic conditions, upset. The body is designed to repair itself, but it can't do that if it's always busy digesting food. Beyond fat loss and repair, upset. Fasting dramatically improves mental clarity and focus. Many people notice their thinking becomes sharper, upset, their mood more stable, and their energy more even throughout the day, upset. This makes sense when you realize that sugar highs and lows directly impact the brain. By fasting and running on fat, upset, especially ketones, the brain receives a cleaner, more efficient fuel source. Historically, upset. Humans often went long periods without food, upset. And it was during those times that sharp thinking and problem solving were most important, upset. Fasting is hardwired into our biology as a way to keep us alert and capable even when food is scarce, upset. Another overlooked benefit of intermittent fasting is digestive rest. The digestive system uses a massive amount of energy, upset. If you're eating from the moment you wake up until right before bed, your body never gets a break, upset. By consolidating meals into a shorter window, you free up resources for other vital processes, upset. People often notice improvements in bloating, gut health, upset, and even skin clarity because the body finally has time to direct energy toward healing rather than constant digestion, upset. Implementing fasting doesn't have to be complicated, upset. It might start with something as simple as skipping breakfast and eating your first meal at noon, upset, followed by your last meal at 7 p.m. That gives your body a 17-hour window without food every day, upset. Plenty of time to lower insulin and activate repair. Over time, many people naturally move to 1 or 2 meals a day, upset. Not because they are forcing themselves, but because hunger simply fades away. Intermittent fasting is not a fad or a trick, upset. It is a natural rhythm that humans have followed for thousands of years, long before supermarkets and 24-hour kitchens existed, upset. By reintroducing fasting into your lifestyle, you align with how your body is designed to function, upset. And the result is not just weight loss, but a profound reset in energy, focus, upset, and overall health. When most people try to improve their health or lose weight, the first thing they think about is calories, upset. They start counting, restricting, or looking for ways to burn more than they consume. But here's the truth, upset. Your body is not a simple math equation. It's a complex system that thrives on nutrients, not just numbers, upset. When you focus only on calories, you may lose weight temporarily, but you often sacrifice health in the process, upset. You can eat 500 calories of soda, chips, and candy and still technically hit your target, upset. But your body will be starving at the cellular level. It's not craving more calories, it's craving more nutrition, upset. That's why the principle of nutrients first, calories second, is so powerful. Every cell in your body depends on vitamins, upset, minerals, amino acids, fatty acids, and fat nutrients to function properly. Without enough potassium, upset. Your muscles cramp and your energy drops. Without magnesium, your sleep suffers and your stress levels rise, upset. Without adequate B vitamins, your metabolism slows down and your brain struggles to focus. These nutrients are not optional, upset. They are essential and yet upset. The modern diet is full of empty calories that satisfy hunger in the short term, but leave you malnourished over time, upset. This is why people can be overweight and still nutrient deficient, upset. Their bodies are storing excess energy as fat while still crying out for the raw materials needed for repair, detoxification, upset, and vitality. When you start prioritizing nutrients, everything changes. For example, when you fill your plate with leafy greens, upset, cruciferous vegetables, and colorful produce, you load your body with antioxidants, trace minerals, and fiber, upset. Add in healthy fats like avocado, nuts, and olive oil, and you provide a steady fuel source that keeps you satisfied for hours, upset. Include high-quality protein, and your body gets the amino acids necessary to repair tissues, build muscle, upset, and maintain a strong immune system. Suddenly, upset. You're not fighting hunger all day because your body is finally getting what it needs. Cravings begin to disappear, upset, and your energy stabilizes. It's also important to recognize that not all calories are processed the same way, upset. 100 calories of refined sugar spikes insulin, floods your bloodstream with glucose, and triggers fat storage, upset. 100 calories of broccoli, on the other hand, delivers fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants without spiking insulin, upset. The impact on your hormones, your metabolism, and your overall health is completely different, upset. This is why two people eating the same number of calories can experience totally different results depending on the quality of those calories, upset. Another key benefit of focusing on nutrients first is appetite regulation, upset. The body has built-in sensors for detecting deficiencies. If you're low in certain minerals or vitamins, upset. Your hunger signals stay switched on, pushing you to eat more in the hope of finding those missing nutrients, upset. This is why people can binge on junk food and never feel satisfied, upset. When you meet your nutritional needs through nutrient-dense foods, hunger naturally subsides, upset. You don't need willpower to stop eating. Your body simply feels content, upset. This approach doesn't mean calories don't matter at all. If you consistently overeat, weight gain will happen, upset. But when you prioritize nutrients, calorie control often takes care of itself. Nutrient-dense foods are more filling, upset. They stabilize blood sugar, and they prevent the overeating cycle that comes with processed foods, upset. You end up eating less without even trying, not because you're restricting yourself, but because your body has what it needs, upset. The nutrient-first mindset is about creating a foundation of health that supports every system in your body. Upset. Instead of chasing short-term fixes or calorie gimmicks, you build resilience, strength, and energy from the inside out. Upset. By making each meal a chance to supply your body with high-quality nutrients. Upset. You shift from surviving on empty calories to truly thriving. Stress is one of the most underestimated barriers to health. Upset. You can eat the perfect diet, exercise regularly, and even practice fasting. Upset. But if your stress hormones are chronically elevated, progress slows down or even stops completely. Cortisol. Upset. The primary stress hormone was designed to help us survive dangerous situations. It raises blood sugar, increases alertness. Upset, and prepares the body for fight or flight. In short bursts, this response is helpful. But in today's world, upset, stress rarely comes in short bursts. It's constant, triggered not by physical threats, but by deadlines, financial pressure. Upset, lack of sleep, and even social media. This persistent stress keeps cortisol elevated far longer than it should be. Upset. And that's where the problems begin. High cortisol interferes with insulin. Upset, which is already one of the most important hormones in weight management. Elevated cortisol makes your body resistant to insulin. Upset, keeping blood sugar high and pushing your pancreas to release even more insulin. This combination promotes fat storage. Upset, especially around the midsection. That's why so many people notice belly fat even when they're eating well and exercising. Upset. It's not just about food, it's about hormones being out of balance. Cortisol also breaks down muscle tissue for quick energy. Upset, which slows metabolism further. In other words, stress literally works against every effort you make to get stronger, leaner. Upset, and healthier. Beyond weight gain, stress has a profound impact on other systems of the body. Sleep is often the first casualty. Upset. High cortisol at night prevents deep, restorative rest. Without quality sleep, growth hormone production drops, recovery slows. Upset, and cravings for sugar and caffeine increase the next day. Over time, upset. This creates a downward spiral where stress causes poor sleep, and poor sleep amplifies stress. Upset. The immune system also weakens under chronic stress. Cortisol suppresses immune responses. Upset, leaving you more vulnerable to infections, slower healing, and even higher risk of chronic illness. Upset. Mental health is another area where the effects of stress are obvious. Anxiety, irritability, upset, and brain fog are often signs of an overstimulated stress response. The brain consumes a huge amount of energy. Upset. And when cortisol is constantly flooding the system, it shifts brain chemistry in a way that reduces focus and motivation. Upset. This is why people under chronic stress often too drained to exercise, too tired to cook healthy meals. Upset, and too overwhelmed to stay consistent with good habits. It's not a lack of willpower, it's physiology working against them. Upset. The good news is that managing stress doesn't always require major lifestyle overhauls. Small, upset, consistent habits make a significant difference. Breathing exercises, meditation, or even short walks can lower cortisol quickly. Upset. Exposure to nature, listening to calming music, or practicing gratitude can activate the parasympathetic nervous system. Upset, which is the body's natural counterbalance to stress. Sleep hygiene is another powerful tool. Going to bed earlier, upset. Reducing screen time at night, upset. And creating a consistent bedtime routine help bring cortisol levels down and allow the body to reset overnight. Upset. Nutrition also plays a role in how you respond to stress. Caffeine and sugar may provide temporary relief. Upset, but they ultimately spike cortisol and worsen the problem. Replacing these with nutrient-dense foods. Upset, especially those rich in magnesium, potassium, and B vitamins, supports the nervous system and improves resilience to stress. Upset. Adequate protein and healthy fats also stabilize blood sugar, preventing the highs and lows that make stress harder to manage, upset. Movement is another essential factor, but it needs to be balanced, upset. High intensity workouts can actually raise cortisol if overdone, while moderate exercise like walking, yoga, upset, or resistance training helps regulate stress hormones and build long-term resilience, upset. The key is consistency and listening to your body's signals. If you're exhausted and burned out, upset. Rest and recovery may be more beneficial than pushing through another intense workout. Ultimately, upset. Stress is not something you can eliminate, but it is something you can manage, upset. The difference between someone who thrives and someone who struggles often comes down to how effectively they reset their stress response, upset. By bringing cortisol back into balance, you create the conditions for fat loss, muscle growth, deep sleep, and stable energy, upset. Without addressing stress, even the best diet and exercise plan will deliver only partial results, upset. When you prioritize calming your nervous system and restoring balance, your body can finally align with your efforts, upset. And true health reset becomes possible. Movement is one of the most powerful tools for transforming health, upset. Yet many people see it only as a way to burn calories. The truth is that movement builds strength, enhances metabolism, upset, improves hormones, and keeps your body functioning the way it was designed. Exercise is not punishment for eating, upset. It is communication with your cells, telling them to adapt, grow, and become more efficient, upset. When you make movement a daily priority, you're not just shaping your body, upset. You're shaping the way your entire system operates. One of the biggest benefits of consistent movement is its effect on muscle, upset. Muscle tissue is metabolically active, which means it burns energy even when you're not exercising. The more muscle you have, upset, the higher your metabolic rate and the more efficient your body becomes at using fuel. Resistance training, upset. Whether it's lifting weights, using resistance bands, or even bodyweight exercises, upset. Signals your body to preserve and build muscle. This is especially important as you age because without deliberate effort, upset, muscle mass naturally declines. That decline is often the reason people feel weaker, slower, and less energetic with age, upset. By engaging in regular strength-based movement, you not only preserve muscle, but also increase your resilience to stress, injury, upset, and fatigue. Another key role of movement is its impact on insulin sensitivity. When you move, upset. Your muscles use glucose for energy, which lowers blood sugar and reduces the demand on insulin. Over time, upset. This makes your cells more responsive to insulin, upset, breaking the cycle of insulin resistance that contributes to weight gain and chronic disease, upset. Even simple activities like walking after meals have been shown to improve blood sugar control dramatically, upset. This means you don't have to rely solely on diet to reset your health, upset. Your muscles themselves act as a powerful tool for balancing hormones and stabilizing energy, upset. Movement also has a profound effect on mood and mental health. Physical activity stimulates the release of endorphins, upset, often called feel-good chemicals, which reduce stress and improve emotional resilience, upset. It increases blood flow to the brain, delivering oxygen and nutrients that enhance focus, memory, and overall cognitive function, upset. Many people find that a consistent exercise routine is one of the most effective ways to combat anxiety and depression, upset, not because it distracts them, but because it rewires how their brain responds to stress, upset. In a world where mental fatigue and emotional burnout are so common, movement becomes a natural reset button, upset. It's important to note that movement doesn't have to mean extreme workouts or hours in the gym. In fact, upset. Overtraining can backfire by elevating cortisol, the stress hormone, and interfering with recovery. The goal is balance, upset. Strength training 2 to 3 times a week, combined with daily low-intensity activity like walking, stretching, or yoga, upset, creates a sustainable rhythm that strengthens the body without breaking it down. Small habits like taking the stairs, upset, standing up more often, or doing short bursts of movement throughout the day accumulate and provide long-term benefits. Upset. Another overlooked benefit of movement is its impact on circulation and detoxification. Exercise increases blood flow, upset, which delivers oxygen and nutrients to tissues while carrying away waste products. It also stimulates the lymphatic system, upset, which doesn't have a pump like the heart and relies on muscle contractions to move lymph fluid, upset. This is essential for immune function and reducing inflammation. In other words, upset. Movement literally helps clean your body from the inside out. Consistency is the real key, upset. Sporadic bursts of activity may give you temporary results, upset. But lasting strength and vitality come from making movement part of your lifestyle. When you move every day, even in small ways, upset, you send a consistent message to your body that health is a priority. Over time, that message becomes encoded in your muscles, upset, your metabolism, and your nervous system, upset. Your body becomes not only stronger, but also more adaptable and capable of handling life's demands, upset. Movement is not optional if you want to reset your health. It is foundational, upset. A daily reminder that your body is built to be used and thrives. When you honor that design, one of the biggest traps people fall into when trying to improve their health is chasing complexity, upset. New diets, exotic supplements, trendy workouts, and miracle fixes seem to appear every few months, upset, each promising to be the breakthrough that finally solves everything. The problem is that complexity usually leads to confusion, upset, inconsistency, and frustration. When you're overwhelmed by too many moving parts, upset. You either give up or bounce from one method to another, never giving your body the stability it needs to truly change, upset. The principle of consistency over complexity is about stripping away the noise and returning to the basics that actually work when practiced day after day, upset. Health is built on a few timeless foundations: nutrient-dense foods, stable energy through fasting or controlled eating windows, upset. Daily movement, restorative sleep, and stress management. None of these require expensive products or complicated protocols, upset. They require focus and repetition. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't need a new method every month, upset. You need a consistent habit every day. In the same way, eating clean foods regularly, moving your body daily, upset, and protecting your sleep schedule are what reset your health in the long run. Complexity might look impressive on paper, upset, but it rarely lasts. Consistency, even with simple habits, always outperforms bursts of complicated routines, upset. One of the reasons consistency is so powerful is because of how the body adapts. Your body responds to repeated signals, upset. If you consistently flood it with sugar and processed food, it adapts by raising insulin and storing fat, upset. If you consistently give it clean fuel, periods of fasting, and regular activity, it adapts by lowering insulin, burning fat, upset, and building muscle. The message your body receives is not about what you did once or twice, but what you do most of the time, upset. Even small actions, when repeated daily, create enormous change over weeks, months, and years, upset. Consistency also frees you from decision fatigue. When your plan is simple, upset. You don't waste energy debating what diet to try next or whether you're doing it right. You know exactly what to do, upset. Eat whole foods, avoid refined sugar, move daily, manage stress, and get quality sleep, upset. The more automatic these behaviors become, the less effort they require. Over time, upset. They feel less like tasks and more like a natural rhythm of life, upset. This is why people who embrace consistency often say they no longer feel like they're on a diet. It becomes who they are rather than something they force themselves to do. Upset. The danger of complexity is that it often creates perfectionism. You feel like you need the perfect meal plan. Upset. The perfect supplement stack or the perfect workout routine before you can begin. But perfection is the enemy of progress. Upset. The body doesn't need perfection, it needs reliability. Upset. Eating one nutrient-packed meal every day for years will do more for your health than trying to follow an extreme diet for 2 weeks and then quitting. Upset. Walking every day for months will transform your metabolism more effectively than doing an intense boot camp for a week and then burning out. Upset. Another way to think about consistency is to see it as momentum. Each simple upset. Repeated action builds momentum that carries you forward even when motivation dips. Motivation is temporary. Upset. It rises and falls with mood and circumstances. But consistency creates discipline. Upset. And discipline is what carries you through the days when you don't feel like putting in the effort. Upset. That steady commitment is what builds resilience, strength, and long-term results. Ultimately, upset. Health is not the product of what you do once in a while, but what you repeat daily. Complexity may look exciting. Upset. But it is consistency with simple, proven steps that resets the body and keeps it strong for life. Upset. By mastering the basics and showing up for them every day, you create a foundation of health that doesn't waver with trends, up seasons, or temporary setbacks.